Happy Wednesday, everyone, and welcome back to the Pageant Sit Down. I'm your host, Regina Lena, and I'm very happy for all of you to be here with us today. I do apologize for the late start. Technical difficulties all over the place, it seems like today for me, so I do apologize. But I am so happy that you're all here. It's episode 71, and I feel like I haven't been on here in a while since I went live on Monday. But someone who also hasn't been here in a while, but is no stranger to one pageantry, but to the Pageant Sit Down, is none other than Mrs. Galaxy Northern Canada 2022, Denise Garrido. Hi, Denise.
Hi, Regine, and wow, congrats! 71 episodes already.
I know, it's so surreal to think that when you came on, I think it was like maybe episode 20 and here we are.
Yeah, it was just I think it was still single digits maybe when I first, I don't even know. It just feels like you had just started and you're already 71 episodes. That's amazing. Good job. Yeah.
Thanks. It's so crazy to think how far this show has come, but I'm really excited because, you've been a guest on the show before, but we've also been on this galaxy journey together. You now have a new title, and I'm sure there's people who are watching who maybe don't know who the heck you are, and they're like, why is she so famous? So can you tell our viewers a little bit about who you are?
Yeah. My name's Denise Garrido. I'm the current Mrs. Northern Canada Galaxy. Yeah. Mrs. Galaxy Canada. Mrs.
Galaxy Northern
Canada. I should just read my sash. I know it's kind of like a readjustment. I've been involved in pageantry for quite a long time. Started off with I did Miss Earth, Miss World, Miss Universe Canada. It's kind of like one of those, I guess, hobbies where you start, you're like, I don't know how it's going to be. I'll just go for the experience. And then you do it. You love the adrenaline rush. And then it's just like, oh, what would it be like to do another one again? And that's kind of what's happened with me. And anyhow, after I finished my last pageant before I got married, I thought I was done with pageantry. And after Theo was born, it kind of all started again. Cindy reached out. And at first I'm like, I don't know. I thought once you're married and you have a kid, that's it. But no, there is life beyond, singlehood in pageantry, and you could continue to pursue those dreams if you want to. So yeah, it's been quite an adventure. And we got to spend 2 years with our Canadian title, and now we get to continue on with our new ones.
And now we're in the same division.
I know. We got lots of married queens. You're getting married next year. Anne Mull, I think after the pageant next year as well. So it's that's the thing. It's been 2 years, so a lot has changed. Life has changed. The world has changed. So yeah,
life keeps going on.
Yeah, babies keep growing into rambunctious toddlers.
Yeah, how old is Theo going to be next year? 4?
Yeah, so he's 2.5 right now. So he'll be 3 in March.
Oh my goodness.
I know.
Wow. So for those who don't know, like Denise said, she had a baby. Little did we all know, she had a baby months right before going into the competition for Galaxy. So Theo has literally grown up seeing you with your title.
Yeah, I know. He's been around sparkly crowns since he was 5 months old. So yeah, because I had helped out with the Miss Universe Canada, and he was 5 months old. And then at 6 months, I did Miss Galley. I competed myself, and so he's been around girls in sparkly, pretty dresses and crowns since he's been 5 months old. So he likes it because every time he sees the crown, he's just like. One time he actually just went and grabbed it and he tried to put it on his head because he sees me put it on my head too, right? So it's cute, right? They want to do what the parents do. So anyhow, it's quite special.
So does he also gravitate towards, I guess, daddy's magic hat or magician hat too? Or is it just more in his cape, or is it more just the crown?
No, also the magic stuff. So if he sees that Scott's gonna do a show, at one point we had to be like, stop, because he wants to go in and grab stuff, and we don't want the table to tip over, so we're like, be careful. And and he's a little rough with tugging on things, so it's we need that prop for the show.
Can't be don't break it. Yeah.
But he loves it, and he loves watching behind the scenes. It's so cute, like this little toddler, and as he's watching his dad, and like he'll like laugh. He's like the audience in the background, especially if he's doing like the virtual shows, and he's just watching and laughing. It's cute. It's really, really cute. But yeah,
built-in sound effects.
I know. It's just like, and it's real.
There you go. And kids' laughter is so contagious too, and it's so jolly. So I'm sure when people are watching, they're like, "Where'd that come from?"
I know. Well, they might think it's just another person on the call, because sometimes like the guests are unmuted and they get to interact with the show. But yeah, it's really fun watching Theo, and just how like that whole development has gone since he was wee. I mean, he's still wee, 2.5, but he's still so tiny.
He is. So Elizabeth Marnock is in the chat, which I'm surprised because she's currently in Florida competing at IJM Miss. So hello, Elizabeth. Thanks for joining us.
Hi, Elizabeth, and good luck.
I know she's been there since, I think, Saturday.
Okay.
So seeing everything that she's been posting and following her journey. She's also been on the show. So now the two of you have been the most visited or most guested guests so far on the show.
Awesome. I hope the pageant's going well, and hopefully you're getting nice sunny weather. We're getting kind of like, the gloomy winter weather, but at least Christmas is among us.
That's true. No, but she posted a picture of her by the pool. I'm like, really? You're gonna tease us like that?
Yeah, I know. Oh, pool, I wish.
Me too. Sunshine, I wish.
And sunshine. Yeah, sunshine even more so. Because I'm actually okay with the cold. It's just once you take away that sunlight, I'm like, that's an energy zapper. Yeah.
Sunshine is sunshine all day, every day.
Yep.
But speaking of Liz, I haven't seen you since I've seen Liz, and we were all together at the Galaxy Canada pageants a few months ago. What was that like for you, I guess, doing your final walk, hearing all of us cheer for you, and then get your new title right away?
Yeah, so that weekend it was actually interesting because like even with doing the final walk, like in my mind I'm just going through this like, transition. It's life transitions, and then I'm thinking to myself, there's no way I'm going to be crying about this. Like, we continue on, we're good. And the moment I set foot on that stage, I'm just like, waterfall. I'm like, Same. What am I doing? Yeah, I know. It's just it's just like we had like this 2-year journey. So much has happened, and then also like seeing Scott in the audience as well, and he's been just like such a rock. And yeah, I'm just like so grateful. I'm grateful for my family who's been there with me throughout the whole journey, for all of you, all of you that I've met and created these like bonds with during those 2 years as well. Yeah, and just really neat being there amongst all of the new queens, but also even like the former queens that were part of the judging panel. That was pretty inspiring. Like Solange, like she's just like so cool and spunky, and just like her energy is just like, oh my gosh, like she just makes the whole feel of Galaxy. I'm just like, oh my gosh, like she's inspiring. I don't know. I felt like quite inspired after that weekend. Just like the energy that I got from like just the different judges. It was nice to see Ashley Callingbull. I hadn't seen her since I competed with her back in 2013. Crazy how time flies. Yeah. So it was it was really nice.
Well, it was such a fun weekend. I remember those pictures, first of all, of you and Scott, like when Scott came up to you and gave you a kiss, and I was like, oh my God. And then seeing the photos on Facebook, I died. I was like, oh my God, she needs to frame this.
Yeah, no, that was like a very special moment. Well, actually, he wasn't the one who did. It was just like this impulse. I was just like, I love you so much, and I went down. He was like, oh, okay, I'll take that. And so he's just like, huh. But no, it was a special moment for sure that evening. And no, it was really fun, and with all the contestants and just everyone was just so amazing. And like working within the limits of based on what we're allowed here in Ontario, I felt like everything was run like the pageant itself went really well. We had a fun weekend, a pajama party. What was it? There were like those donuts, like the Galaxy donuts. Lots of like really fun things. And even just before the weekend started with the the Galaxy
Escape
Queen.
room.
Yeah, I loved that. Oh my gosh, that
You
was
killed it. Okay. For those who are wanting to do an escape room, but you don't want to do it by yourself, go with Denise, because I'm not a fan of escape rooms. I'm terrible at them. But Denise, she's like, okay, guys, this is where we gotta go. And we basically escaped. They started our clock early. So we
yeah.
technically did escape, but it's all because of you and Cindy. Like, you two were on the ball. I think it was me and Chloe who were in the other cell. We're like, what do we do?
No, it was a team effort, and like all of us involved, and like, you know, even someone mentioning something could trigger an idea in another person. So it definitely was like a team effort, but I loved it. And then the axe throwing, I
Mm-hmm.
thought I would have been a little better at axe throwing, but I definitely have learned that I do not have good coordination when it comes to throwing items.
Me neither. Don't
Yeah.
worry. But it was, you know what? Like you said, we had our reign for 2 years together. And I find that you and I got closer. But then being so far away from Sudbury and Alberta, we didn't really get to bond with the other two. So I feel like that weekend really brought us all together.
Actually, that weekend was amazing for that. You know, every time we would go back to the room, we're all getting ready for, like, you know, the interviews or whatever was next in the schedule. And those were the moments that we really got to like connect with one another. It was definitely, I find bonding, because yes, like online, you do get that connection, but there's something about in person. Like, it's extremely different. It's a very different, like way that you build a relationship when you have that in-person connection. And so I really, that was actually quite special. Yeah, because like with Chloe and with Ann Mall, because they're so far, you know, we're all still connected, but having that in person was just like, it really solidified things.
Oh, 100%. And the best part, I think, about you getting a new sash is our little sister Nicole spilled coffee all over your other sash. Were you ever able to take the coffee off?
I rinsed it under the water. I mean, it still looks like there's like a little bit of a line, but that's okay. You know what? The sash represents all experiences, and I have a little bit of Nicole now in my sash, and I will always be like, that's my sister queen right there. So, there we go.
An international queen did that to you. Like, she did you dirty, literally.
Exactly. It's like the mark of the international queen.
She's leaving her mark everywhere she goes.
Yeah, no, they did amazing. Yeah, so we're like super proud. We go to our nationals, and we have nationals with 3 new international queens. They did such an amazing job representing. Everyone has huge shoes to fill with that. Yeah, I feel like the team did an amazing job.
Oh, for sure. They killed it. But I'm really excited to now, you know, okay, we know for sure our turn is coming up in 2022. What are some things that you're looking forward to now that you know, okay, it's coming? We actually have the green light. We just don't have the date yet.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's kind of just continuing with like the different types of appearances, like different things that we could do. I think like that's kind of since the new sashing, that's been kind of what has been motivating me, or just the different things that I've been just able to do. And actually, like, one of them was part of like the previous title, which was that fundraiser that I had done with Jenny, Miss Galaxy Windsor, and I finally received, like, you know, the part of the different packages that had been raised. And so to deliver them to that women's shelter and seeing the amount of appreciation that they had for these items, because there's such a need right now. And yeah, I find like that's kind of just like what's really inspiring and motivating, or just like these different things that could be done in the community, because people really need it. And sorry?
No, go ahead.
And also because now we are able to do more in person as well. Like I mentioned earlier, there's something about that live interaction that it's just it's much more profound. So going in, like seeing their expressions, feeling that appreciation, like that's motivating. So yeah, so that's definitely one thing that I really look forward to, is having that that connection live as well.
Well, I saw that and I was like, oh my God, that looked like a great thing to be a part of, you know, especially because now that you have this title, or your new title, I don't know, I felt the same way, where it's like, okay, we had our I like to say we had our virtual moment with our first titles, and now with our new sashes, it's like a new beginning, a new era, and a new era for appearances. And like you said, the connections that you build within your community, it, it it's what makes the journey so much worth more. What? So much more worth.
Yeah, more worth it. Exactly. And that's the thing, right? Anytime we do something or we volunteer for something, we meet people along the way. You might meet someone who becomes like a really close friend of yours. And if you had never done that event, if you had never put yourself out there to, to volunteer or to just initiate some type of like initiative, you would have never met this person or that person, and you would have never developed those relationships and also skills, because we do certain things and we're building skills along the way. So it's just like there's so many things that you can benefit from just doing things and participating in the community. You meet people, you learn things along the way, you develop relationships. And we know there's a quote, very profound quote, I feel, is like 90 to 95% of your success is based on relationships. So yeah, it's so
That's true. Very true. So you mentioned earlier that Canada Galaxy was your first Mrs. Pageant. So now that you've done it, you're now in it 2 years, almost 3 years. Do you see yourself continuing in pageantry after this Galaxy journey?
I mean, I have a train of thought that never say never, because I thought after I did Universe, like that was done. I'm done with pageants. I'm getting married, like on to the next stage. And then the opportunity to do Mrs. Galaxy Canada came up. And so I think back and like I said, I was done, and like I technically am not. So like, it's just, you just kind of keep things open. You never say never, right? Like, don't be so solid and rigid in your thinking, because you never know what the day of tomorrow holds. And so things change all the time. So I'm like, I may think that that's it, but then something might happen or something might inspire me. So that's kind of where I stand. I'm just not extremely rigid. I'm just like, at this point, this is where I feel I'm at. But if something changes, then, you go with that too. And that's life, right? We were ready to go to an international pageant in Texas, and then it changed. And so you just kind of go with the flow.
Exactly. And we're still waiting to find out where we're going when it's happening, and we're just going with the flow.
Yep, exactly.
Well, we are at the halfway point, and Denise, as you know, there is a segment on this show which is 5 tips from a beauty queen. So you could either use the same tips that you gave before, or if you have new ones, what would you say to our viewers watching us today?
So 5 tips from a beauty queen. I don't even remember what I said last time. So, but probably things that I'll say today will be repeats, because I believe in these things. So one is, well, first and foremost, and I probably said this last time, was do not compare. Because the moment you compare yourself with others, you're taking away your personal power. And you should just focus on just being your personal best and competing against yourself. So like I did martial arts, and the competition was, I did 10 push-ups today. Well, tomorrow I'm going to see if I could do 11. Yeah, there may be someone who could do 50, but who cares? I'm able to now do 11. So it's always trying to beat your personal best, as opposed to comparing. Because if I only saw the person who did the 50 and I'm like, well, I don't know, I'll never be able to do 50 push-ups, I give up, right? It's less inspiring, you're less motivated. At least from my point of view, I'm more inspired when I come from a place of like intrinsic value, like coming from within, like what can I do myself, as opposed to like needing the external like that external competitive piece. Like it's good to have like inspiration when you see fellow competitors, but when it comes to a place where it's just like I need to beat that person, I feel like you take away your personal power. So comparing yourself, I feel, is just one of the number one things that I always say is just like ignore, because you don't know what those judges are looking for. One judge might be like, oh, I think that this is really spectacular about a person. And then the next judge thinks, actually, no, I think that that's actually annoying when someone does that. So you just got to be you, be proud of you, and just rock you. So I guess that's tidbit number 1. Tidbit number 2 is when you're competing, don't go online looking for opinions, because opinions could either do one of two things. Either it's in your favor, like, oh, this person's so amazing, they're going to have it in the bag. So that will either make you feel too overly confident that you're less motivated and you don't work as hard. And so you actually might surprise yourself in an unpleasant way when it comes to competition, because maybe you don't do as well as you were expecting to. Or number two, people are saying things that are not very positive about you, and then that puts you down as well. And so we got to really protect our minds. There's another quote, like, protect your mind as if it were a briefcase filled with $1 million. So protect it. Don't let anyone go in and infiltrate that. And so, like online forums, you could go look at those after the fact, but when you're competing, stay away from them, because like you got online trolls, people that could be so mean, just write really horrible things. And if it's not written in your favor, it could be just very uninspiring. And so you got to just really do what you can to keep yourself strong. Number three, prepare. So, I'm going into a competition. What is required? Don't just be like, I'm the most amazing thing in the world, I will just go in and I will just rock it. Like, do your homework, look at what you're getting into, research the system, look at their history, what are their values, and you got to work from that understanding. You don't go into a job like as a computer tech and be like, I'm an amazing baker. Well, that's irrelevant, right? So you have to be able to research the position that you're seeking, and so prepare accordingly. So do your research, look into the system, find out what their values are, what do they look for in a title holder, and use that as kind of your guidepost when you're preparing for the competition. And then number four, it's be consistent. Just do a little bit of something every day, because sometimes you look at a job that needs to be done, it could be overwhelming, and how they say, like a little bite at a time. So just do a little thing every day, and you're that much closer. Or if you're like, oh, I really want to get in shape, but I don't have time to dedicate an hour at the gym every day, then just do 10 jumping jacks. You at least did 10 more jumping jacks than you would have done if you had just stayed and thought about, I just don't have time for the gym. Like, just do something, and this way you're moving yourself closer. So just little steps at a time and consistently do add up. And I guess one more, number 5, is connect with people that have done it. So this way you know what it's all about and what to expect, and that way it's not like a full surprise when you go and compete, especially if it's your first time doing it.
Oh, I can't hear you, Denise.
You're doing your research, you're learning about the pageant, you read their motto, you learn, you do the theoretical work, but then get some experience feedback and reach out to people that have done it and be like, okay, so how was the experience? What kind of things did you do? What do you feel like, what worked in your favor or didn't work in your favor? What was it about the winner? Or if you could reach out to a winner, even better, right? I really believe that, okay, back to another quote, success leaves clues. So look at who has attained what you want to attain, and what are the clues? What are they doing? And use those as, again, your guideposts on what things you should maybe try to do as well. Don't try and clone yourself. You still have to be your individual self, but get a feel of what are the fundamentals that kind of embrace the qualities that this organization would want in a winner. So interviewing or touching base with people that have done it, I think is also very, very helpful.
Mm-hmm. And those are 5 amazing tips. I love when you come on because I feel like it's a TED Talk.
I know, my brain's just ding, 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 ding.
I love it. Denise is very insightful, whether it be pageantry or about life. I remember at some points of the pandemic, I was like, Denise, what are your thoughts on this? And I'm like, oh, okay. So that's something that I really admire about you, actually, Denise, is you're so insightful on literally everything. And it's just oh, I don't need Google. I have Denise.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. Well, we have so much that we learn from each other, right? There's things that I learned from you. We all learn from each other. So yeah.
Mm-hmm. So there's a question from Melissa on YouTube. So she was asking, how excited are we as sister queens to be competing together at internationals?
I feel it's always so much more fun when you have someone to do things with, right? Like I've done it. I've gone and I've competed and been solo, and you meet people. It kind of, well, when you're solo, then you're forced to like, go outside your comfort zone, meet new people, and make those new friendships. But there's also something really fun when like you're going in with people you already know. Like it makes it enjoyable. Like that's the one thing about the Galaxy pageant, is that you win as a queen, but then you have sister queens, and so you kind of get to join in and enjoy the experiences together. It's like it's fun doing it solo, but there's something even more enjoyable when you have like buddies to do it with. So and then like you kind of build each other up as well, because you're all working towards a certain goal, and we're all on that same team towards that goal. And so I feel like that also inspires each other. It's just like, oh, I'm doing this. What do you think about this? Or let's try this. And so I feel like that's also very, very positive, is just having like that community to support each other.
For sure. I remember, a lot of people don't know this, but when the announcement came on that, we are switching titles, one of the first things I did was reach out to Denise, because I was like, how do you feel about me potentially going up to the Mrs. division? Just because I felt like this is your reign, this is your title. I didn't want to like intercept and be like, I'm a Mrs. now too.
Yeah, but that's like, no, like it would be like selfish to be like, oh, like how dare you now come into my,
why'd you get engaged?
Like the thing is like we all, exactly, and so much changes in life, and because like it was a 2-year span, so much has changed for each of us, and within our own lives, and like you don't want to put your life on hold, so like we go with life, we adapt to changes, because that's what life is. Things happen and we just adapt and we just go with it. And then afterwards, like and also it's back to the whole, like now you have like other fellow queens to do it with.
Exactly. It's like, when you compete for, say, Miss Universe or Miss Universe Canada or a regional title, you're not going to not compete because your best friend is also competing. Like you said, it's so much more fun when you have that person or your people there with you who are there to support you. But I think one thing that you, myself, and Jenna should do is coordinate and make sure we're not wearing similar colors.
Oh yeah, that's true. Imagine we all wore like maple leaf dress. We all happen to wear a maple leaf dress. Yeah.
They'll be like, something's going on with Canada.
We just tried really hard to coordinate ourselves by wearing the exact same thing. Yeah.
That could happen. I mean, do you not remember at Galaxy or Canada Galaxy? They were in different divisions, but there are some people who wear the exact same outfit in the same, like, I know there was a rewear in fashion and the Ms. and the Mrs. I guess you didn't notice because you weren't on stage for Ms. But
yeah.
I was looking at the videos and the photos. I was like, I almost bought that exact same outfit.
Oh yeah. Well, actually, and that's why on the online groups, like our Canada Galaxy group, some people was it in the Canada Galaxy? I know I've been in a pageant before where people did kind of like say like, my dress is like this, and this way people kind of caught it in advance because someone found out that someone else had the exact same dress, so they were able to change. And then there's been other cases where like there was one year that I think there were like 2 or 3 that had it was the same color, same style.
It was Miss Universe, right?
Yeah.
Miss Universe Canada?
Canada, yeah.
Yeah.
The exact same. And I was just like, oh man, like now you're just like, who wore it best, right? Like who carried that dress best? Oh yeah, I know, that's tricky. So yeah, no, I think collaborating just to kind of get a feel of like, okay, the style that I'm going with is, or if you like that style too, then, maybe change.
But I feel like all of our pageant styles are very different. So I think we're going to be okay, but I still feel like maybe for like interview, especially where the judges see us one by one, maybe we should, because they might be like, did you just borrow that blazer from that girl? Actually, yes, I did.
I mean, like, recycle, reuse, reduce. We're trying to lead by example.
It's the sisterhood of the traveling blazer.
I know. Yeah, exactly.
Oh my goodness. Well, Denise, Canada Galaxy has been a huge part of, I guess, Theo's life and your life at this point. What has it been like going from pageant mode to mommy mode to wife mode? Because I'm sure there's a lot of misses who are watching and are trying to figure out, if I wanted to do a pageant, how do I balance both mommy, wife, and pageant queen?
Yeah. So, well, for me, I've always had I always have like my fundamental, like my family is my like number one, my child is number one, but you still go to work, you still have your other things that you have to prioritize, and you still fit into your schedule, and you still make work, and it's all about organizing time. And so that's kind of just like with anyone, I guess, that has a job and that has like a career. It's balancing it and finding ways to really organize your time. I'm also extremely fortunate because I have such a supportive husband. So like, a lot of the things that we do it together as a family. I've said this before. I really feel like my Mrs. title is a family affair. Like everything I do has been centered around my family and having them there, being part of that. My first appearances, Theo was hanging off of me in a baby carrier, and we were presenting at a library. So it's like I find that I have them like integrated as part of it because they are such a priority in my life, and so I integrate them into it for me. Yeah.
I love that. So if there are misses who are watching, or maybe single moms who are watching, do you have any advice for them going into their first pageant, or maybe going back into pageantry now being a mom?
Yeah. Well, I mean, going back into pageantry being a mom, like, well, if you've done it before, you kind of, what is expected in the pageant and the things that you need to prepare. And you just have to organize your time because like you have a child, they have high needs. They need their caregivers, with them. And it's being able to know like, okay, what do I need to accomplish? What is my timeline? And then just organizing your time accordingly and not being afraid to ask for help if you do need help. If you have like family or friends that are able to kind of assist in between, because it's really life-changing, especially if you have a kid for the first time. Like I was just like, holy moly, how have like humans done this for like all of eternity? Like, just like managing this little creature, this little being that's so helpless. But that's the concept of it takes a village. It really is so true because especially so early postpartum where your hormones are, normalizing and you're going through those physical readjustments as well. It could be really, really tough. And if you have community that is willing to help support, then that really helps the mother. That's a huge service to the mother. Sometimes we forget about the importance of a healthy mother then means a healthy child because she has the capability to care for that child. And then a mom who goes and strives for something is an example for her child because like look at what my mom was able to do while like she had me, the rambunctious toddler running around, but she still was able to do it. And so it's also a good example for the kid, I find. So as a parent, and if your child is old enough, maybe doing a pageant together, which we have a couple of moms doing. And that's another really fun thing is like you do it as a family. Oh my gosh. Like if I had a little girl, like to have, I'd probably be like all like here, you're my center of attention. Like I'd be like, oh, it's okay. Like focus on her. But if you had like a child that was old enough and they were interested, that would be such a fun thing to do as well as to do the pageant together. But and if not, like still, like I think it's a good example for your child that, mom is able to provide for me, but she also she has her own goals and dreams and she's going for them. And so yeah, I think that's...
No, it's true. Those are great because, if you look at, say, Jenny and Nezzy, they were a mother-daughter duo, or Dawn and Leah, they were also mother-daughter duo in pageantry. And then you have someone like Jenna, and now her daughter wants to come back to pageantry.
She wants to be nice.
She wants to come back. She told mommy she wants to wear a blue dress and be on stage. So it's true. You do see all of these women in pageantry who are inspiring their children, and then same with Natalie, our Miss. She's got 3 kids, and her daughter's like, I talked to her daughter, I want to do it too. I'm like, oh
Nice.
my goodness. And then here I am like, hey niece, you want to do pageants? No? Okay, I tried.
Well, that's the thing, right? Like they see you do it, and then if they're inspired, then you encourage them. And if it's not their thing, then that's fine too, right?
Mm-hmm.
Not everyone is into pageantry, not everyone's into hockey, not everyone's into basketball, right? Everyone has their own different tastes and preferences, and you just support whatever they want to pursue.
Just like what happened with you with being having your black belt.
Yeah, exactly. Like I was really into martial arts. My gosh, for me, I'm just like, it's so much fun. Every female has to do martial arts. And then some are just like, no, thank you. I think I'll stick with, dance or figure skating or
Mm-hmm.
something else, right? Like everyone's different. Whereas for me, I'm just like, ooh, skates. I'm like, I fall, I don't have that kind of balance, right? So it's just everyone's different, and you just kind of embrace, the beauty of those differences and encourage each person
Mm-hmm.
to pursue what they want to pursue. And that's, and children as well, right? If one thing is intriguing, you support them. But I'm very, especially going through martial arts, like, support them in what they want to pursue, but don't let them quit. Because like,
Mm-hmm.
especially as a young child, like that's a very valuable lesson, is if they start and they're like, oh, I don't want to really do it anymore, just I would like encourage to push, like, no, you finish what you start, right? To
Mm-hmm.
kind of teach that lesson of perseverance right till the end. Not everyone may agree with that, but I think it's like the martial arts taekwondo black belt in me that, I started. There could be times where you're not as motivated, but you know what? You finish what you start. And I feel like that would be something that I would probably do with Theo, is like, unless if he's like absolutely just like crying, but like, I'm not going to be like
no.
right? But I really want to instill the importance of like pushing through. Not everything in life is going to be comfortable and easy. And even things that we enjoy, there are going to be unpleasant moments during those journeys as well, but we have to push through, because in order to have any type of success in life, and the only way we actually improve ourselves are through going through adversity and going through things that are not comfortable,
Mm-hmm.
but then you grow through it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just
no, it's like, I wish my mom did that with me, because I was that kid who went to piano lessons every Saturday, and I did not practice at home. I pretended like I was playing the piano, and now I regret it. Now I wish I stuck with it, or that like she was more stern, I guess, with me and sticking to it, because I was like, man, how amazing would it be to play the piano right now?
Yeah. Well, it's the concept of tough love, right? Like it's,
Mm-hmm.
you want to do this, I will support you, but you know what? Like, we're going to make a deal on this. You're going to have to follow through, and you're going to get to a certain level, or you're going to have to make sure you achieve the certain thing. Otherwise, I'm not going to just let you just do something and then drop out of it and do something else. I just feel
That
like
was my mom. She's like, okay, that's no problem.
yeah, and that's fine too. Like everyone has like their own way of dealing. I just feel like with me, it's just, I really want to instill like the importance of like pushing through
Mm-hmm.
right till the end, push through right till the end. Like,
Mm-hmm.
just that you develop that resilience that will help with so many other parts in life as well. But yeah,
For sure.
yeah, following through.
And like, here we are 2 years into our reign, and we're still pushing through. So the resilience is real.
Yeah.
Chanel's actually in the chat. She says, you were lovely to meet at Galaxy. And Scott Dion Brown is on here. He says, hello, hello.
Hi.
So hello to everyone who's tuned in. I know Scott Dion Brown is streaming at 8:30. So if you guys want to follow and watch his stream after our interview, go right ahead.
What is he streaming?
He's playing Among Us tonight. It's a video game, Among Us.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Is it like, it sounds like a zombie, like
It's like, I don't know if you've seen those like little cartoon characters, like animated characters, where they look like they have hoods on. They're like one giant hood. And they're
okay.
colorful, and you're trying to figure out who the imposter is.
Oh,
And so it's like a mystery, or is it called murder mystery, but like animated, trying to figure out who did it.
oh, that's cool.
I've never played it, but I've watched his streams and he plays it. So if you guys are interested, Scott Dion Brown's YouTube channel, youtube.com/Scott Dion.
Shout out.
Exactly. Well, you've been on his show,
Yep.
on the Sit Down, and you've now been on the Pageant Sit Down twice. Do you prefer, and you can be honest with me, do you prefer virtual interviews or do you prefer in-person interviews? So similar to what you did with Paula.
Yeah. So like there's each one has its own, I guess, flair. And like I mentioned before, there's just something about like when you're in the room with somebody, you feel a vibe. Like there's something about like the energy in the space, and I find I really feed off of that. I mean, you still work it as well when it comes to like a virtual setting, but there's something about in person that is just irreplaceable. Just like that energy piece, right? Just being in the presence of somebody. But I mean, I like it all. And honestly, the online virtual gives us the opportunity to reach places that we probably would not have that same opportunity to reach. You could speak to people from across the world in one moment. About having like the virtual as well. There's benefits and pros and cons to everything, right? And so but I think that's one thing, is just like the reach that you have through a virtual platform is really, really powerful.
For sure. I'm like playing around with this new system I have, so I do apologize. So the viewers, if they're wondering why I'm looking at the side, this is my first time using this platform, which I do want to apologize to our viewers who watched last week's episode. I didn't realize that my microphone was super crackly. And of course, technology, it comes and goes. And so my computer is crashing on me, so I am now using this new platform, so bear with me. I do apologize if you watched last week and you're like, I can't listen to this, because I couldn't listen to it either, so I do apologize. But no, and that's a problem with virtual.
I know. Well, that's anything with technology, right? Because technology is great when it works, but then when it doesn't quite work, it can be very frustrating.
You're like, why? Yeah, no. But I can't wait to have you and Scott back in person on maybe on the Sit Down with Scott Dion Brown, because I remember when Scott did that magic trick, I'm like, how? But I feel like if he did it in person, I'd be able to figure out how he did it, or maybe not, because he's a professional.
Well, I mean, prior to like everything virtual, it was all live in person. So like actually that's like his base is like the in person. And so I think the experience would be actually really cool in person, because whenever there's things on camera, you can't help but think, was that a camera effect? Right? So whereas when it's like right there and there's like no camera angles that are at play, I think it could be even a little bit more impressive when it's in person.
I think so. I can't wait. I mean, speaking of Scott and his magic tricks, have you picked up on any of his tricks yet? Like, do you see him do it and you're like, oh, I know it's going to happen? Or is it still a mystery to you?
Now I've pretty much figured them all out. Yeah. And also sometimes I get to like see a little bit behind the scenes, but he's like sworn with magic, you do not disclose the trick. And so I'm like, but why? Like, this is when I was just dating. I'm like, but I'm your girlfriend. He's just like, but you're not going to enjoy it if you know how it works. And I'm like, that's a good point, right?
Like, but what if you need a sub in? Like, what if he can't make one show? And so they're like, oh, we need to get another magician. Oh, Denise knows all the tricks. Here you go.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, well, that could be a good way to kind of like sway him a little bit. But with magic, it's not just about the trick. Like, 90% of it is the performance. So like if you have someone who they're like but it's kind of like the build up to it, like the storyline behind it. So did you know? And then all of a sudden like something happens. It's like the performance that really makes it. You know, like we all know how to walk, but someone who like really knows how to work a catwalk, like there's something about that performance part of it that just makes it stand out from the rest. And so with him, like I'd have to do some training on the performance part of it. I might like fumble around and be like, oh shoot, and then give away like how the trick works, right? Like it takes a lot of practice with like, you know, like working with your hands and making things really smooth. Yeah. So he's a good performer, because I've seen like other magicians and I've like excellent ones, but I also have seen some that I'm just like, you fumbled there. Like that was just, I'm like, right. I figured out the trick watching you do it. Like, like the performance wasn't as like, I mean, and I've seen others that I'm just like, what just happened, right? And that's how you know like,
Mind blown.
you've done a good job, is like you're just like, what just happened, right? So it's a huge part performance, and just able to have like captivate the audience, bring them in, and then just like something happened and they're like, wow, that's astounding.
When you blink, you missed it. Like those kinds of ones.
Yeah. So no, he's definitely a good performer, because he like a lot of the magic, it's interesting. It's like it's actually simplistic, but it's all about how it's carried out. Yeah, it's really cool. It's a whole other world.
It is. And he's so talented in what he does. But I'm curious, because he is doing a lot of virtual shows, does he miss making the balloon animals?
Yeah, I mean, although he's been able to incorporate some balloon animals in his virtual classes, because he does sometimes he'll do like balloon teaching workshops, so the kids on the other hand have like balloons at home too, and so he'll go through them, like how to fold it and how to like make a balloon dog or like a giraffe. So like
I need to take those classes.
Yeah, it's pretty fun. Like kids love it.
That is pretty fun. Like I know how to make a dog, but that's on a sword, that's it. But I would love to learn how to make a flower or a giraffe or a hat. Or he made Winnie the Pooh once.
I know, the little teddy bear. Oh, when I first met him, like he made me like a little turtle bracelet. It was like this cute little turtle, and so like part of the balloon wound around, and it's like a turtle bracelet. Yeah. So there's like a lot of really cool things. You could be so creative with it.
I can only imagine you like seeing Theo one day and he's just like playing with the balloons and making his own creation. That's when you know he's watched too many of Scott's shows.
Oh, actually, you know what? He already like knows like certain cues, or he knows when something. So if he's watching like, like on the other side and he's watching like Scott perform, because sometimes he'll like run down the hall because he wants to watch, and like he'll like know what's coming up in the trick, and all of a sudden he's like starts like bursting out laughing because he knows like that this is just about to happen, or he sees it happen. Yeah, so yeah, he's picked up so much on it.
Oh my god,
yeah, it's really cute.
Oh my goodness. So when you said it takes a village to raise a child, it's true, because for those who don't know, when Denise competed at Canada Galaxy the first year, her year competing, she literally had a village with her. She had her mother-in-law, she had her husband, she had all of us helping her. Oh my gosh, it was very inspiring and heartwarming as well to see how much support you have, and to see all of the girls come together for you, and for maybe because we're just like, Theo, that was me, but
baby. Yeah. Like I mentioned, having a child was completely transforming of my life, and that is my priority, is my family. And so competing in the pageant, I'm just like I have like this little one. I need to make sure that I'm able to be there to support him. And yeah, my mother-in-law, she was like ecstatic to be able to have like all this time with baby backstage. And then, and she also like, loves watching anything pageantry. So for her, she's like, so exciting. Like, it's a pageant, and like, I'm having all baby time. So it was like a win-win.
She got to bond with him.
Yeah, no, she loves it. Like just any time with her grandson, she adores. So no, it was really cute.
And she was a trooper. I mean, she went to the Queen photo shoot the next day. Like, your mother-in-law is amazing.
Yeah, I'm really fortunate. I have an amazing family. Just I am very fortunate, because not everyone has like the like that support available to them. And so it's one thing that about history, that when it was all about like that village participating in the upraising of a child, I never understood that quote until I had a child of my own, and learning about just all that a mother goes through, like postpartum, going through the healing process, trying to renormalize, while at the same time having this vulnerable tiny little child that needs you for everything 24/7, right? They're called dependents for a reason. Like they cannot do anything. Like they just lie there, and they need you to feed them, you need you to change them, and you to comfort them 24/7, especially that first year of life. My goodness. So yeah, it takes a village. And so I'm so grateful for my family, for supporting and being my village.
Well, that's amazing. I mean, I can't imagine what it's going to be like at internationals, whether you bring Theo or not, because I'm sure your village will be there regardless of the decision that you make, and especially throughout the rest of your reign too.
Yeah, no, they're excited. Like they're always, whatever I decide, they're there to support, and so I'm really grateful for that.
I think Theo's going to be thrown off once, your reign is over. And if you do win internationals and then that reign is over, I'm so curious to how his life is going to change.
I mean, I feel like I'll always have some kind of pageantry involved because
Miss Universe Canada.
yeah, like there's like I've always had, even though I never planned for it to happen that way, it's just like, life has its turns and things kind of happen, and yeah, I don't know, I'm grateful for it. Like it's been really neat, just lots of different experiences and all of the relationships that I've made, and I think it's kind of cool for Theo too, just all of these different friendly faces that he's met along the way.
It's going to be amazing, and I can only imagine what is going to happen with Theo, and just continuing watching your family grow and seeing Theo grow. Like, to think he's almost 3 is mind-blowing.
I know. I still look at the picture when I was first crowned, and he was like this little infant. Well, he wasn't an infant. Infant's like 3 months and under. So yeah, no, he's 6 months.
Baby.
He was this little baby, and now he's just like running around. He's jumping on the couches, freaking us out. Are you gonna fall and bonk your head? Right?
Oh
He's just
God.
like, he's growing so much, and he's talking now, and he's communicating, and so
Stop.
so cute. Yeah, and him trying to, like, my favorite, most recent word was around Halloween with pumpkins, right? Pumpkin, right? And so like all of a sudden he's just like, pumpkin, and then after he would grab a little pumpkin, and then he's like, paint, and so he just loves coloring on pumpkins. And yeah, it's really cute. So every stage of their development is really mesmerizing, because like the moment they learn something else, it's just like, they rolled over for the first time. They just took, their first step for the first time. He just said the word whatever for the first time. So it's just every moment of their development is so cool.
Oh my goodness. I can't imagine how grown up he is, and I can't wait to see you guys again in person. It's been a few months, and just to see him at the Queen photo shoot and just seeing how like active he is and how he was just running around. He's a child. Like he was an infant or baby when we first saw him, and now he's this little human.
I know.
It's just so crazy. But as we start to wrap things up, Denise, is there anything that you'd like to share with our viewers today?
Just, I guess, kind of going back, I guess, to the question of like the 5 things you would suggest, and even for someone who wants to pursue, it's never too late to pursue anything, especially with the Galaxy pageant system. It is never too late at any moment in your life, whether it's like, getting married, having a child, age, none of it is a factor. Anyone who would want to participate has that opportunity to participate. You just have to put in the work, right? Like,
exactly.
Go for it and enjoy the process, because it's really fun. And I find that people that do pageants like really enjoy them.
For sure.
Yeah.
And Denise, if people wanted to continue to follow your journey to whether it be Canada Galaxy Internationals or any other future pageant that you might do, where can people find you online?
Yep. So my Facebook, Instagram for Mrs. Galaxy Northern Canada is that exact phrase. It's at Mrs. Galaxy Northern Canada 2022, because the title's for 2022. And then my personal is just Denise at Denise Garrido Official. Facebook is Denise Garrido Canada.
Okay, perfect. So all the links to your Galaxy pages are down below, but after today's show, I will also update it and add the rest of your links there. We've talked enough about Scott, so I'll also throw in his magician page there as well.
Thank you.
Denise, this has been a blast. I know, we've had this conversation before once upon a time on the Pageant Sit Down. We've talked again on the Sit Down with Scott Dion Brown, but I feel like every time we interview each other, or I interview you, you don't interview me, but every time I've interviewed you, I've always learned so much more about you. And so thank you for continuing to inspire not just myself and the other queens, but even the other girls who, or men who are watching and may want to do Miss World Canada, Miss Universe, Miss Earth, and Miss Galaxy, because you've led that path for all of us.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, it's definitely a blast. Like that, the whole world of pageantry, it's definitely life changing. So just got to give it a chance. And just like anything, just give it a chance and enjoy it.
For sure. Well, Denise, again, thank you so much for joining me this evening with your new title. I cannot wait to see what you do with this reign and how it goes at internationals. To everyone else who's tuned in, thank you so much for joining us this evening. If you enjoyed Denise's interview or just enjoy this interview in general, make sure you give this video a thumbs up. If you enjoy all things pageantry, make sure you subscribe to this channel, as I do go live every week for the Pageant Sit Down. Denise, again, thank you so much. I'm so glad to have had you on the show. Hugs to Theo and to Scott, and I will see all of you guys next time. Bye.
Thanks, Regine. Bye.